In this video, we're going to talk about wheelchair attachments. What are they? How do they work? What are some of the different types of wheelchair attachments? What about wheelchair attachments that are better in retirement homes and nursing homes? And what are the best kinds of wheelchair attachments for you? Todd, nice to see you again.
Good to be here.
So we're surrounded by a wealth of different kinds of devices. They're inexplicable to me. What is a wheelchair attachment? How do they work? And what are some of the different kinds of wheelchair attachments?
There's many different kind of wheelchair attachments, and they do different things. But pretty much, if you wanted to generalize, an attachment to a wheelchair would be something that you add to a wheelchair to allow you to position something.
Okay,
Really.
and what could that something be?
It could be your arm, it could be your knee, it could be your foot.
So this is for an arm or a foot?
Not really. That's actually for an iPhone or Android device, a phone.
So this could be a person or this could be a thing that you want to actually use.
Absolutely.
So show me through some of the kinds we've got hanging out here right now.
So like this one would amount to the cane of a wheelchair, but what it does is it holds your torso. It's called a lateral trunk support.
Okay.
So it prevents you from
So flipping around from side to side.
Right.
Okay.
Right. This one here, it goes and it's mounted underneath, on this side, mounted underneath an arm pad, and it actually holds a piece of technology so you can see it.
And look, I've got to ask this. It seems to me that some of these, of course, a lot of these are for use on wheelchairs, but you could use them beyond that, right?
Oh, absolutely. You could use them in cars. You could use them on your desk table at home. Many different options.
So I know that you guys are expanding in that direction, but let's come back here. What's this one for? I'm assuming in the very large Android phone, or perhaps an iPad?
That's one of the large iPad holders that could be mounted on this or could be mounted upright on the side of a wheelchair or any other device.
Okay, cool. And then the one down here on the ground.
And this is an attachment that actually slides over a slingback wheelchair to provide additional back support.
Okay, because those slingbacks, they're kind of fairly flexible.
Right.
So this gives some rigidity and lumbar support kind of deal.
Correct, absolutely.
And down here we have a little piece of foam that looks like it's got Velcro on the back.
And that's actually the lumbar support for this very unit.
Okay, cool. So those two things go together.
Yeah.
All right, good. So let's talk about the sort of, I know that there's a really vast array of wheelchair attachments and accessories. Let's talk about some that might be relevant, say, in a retirement home or a nursing home.
Yeah, in many cases, like a retirement home or a nursing home, many people are in the slingback wheelchairs and they're slumped over and they just don't have a lot of support in the back. That's where this product is fantastic.
Okay.
You can slip it on very simply, get that lumbar support that you need, but also take a relatively inexpensive wheelchair and turn it into something that's not so uncomfortable and it actually is useful.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, and let me see. So I think we've covered different kinds of wheelchair attachments. In the event that you are trying to select a wheelchair attachment, let's say this lumbar support or one of these, what are some of the things you should look out for? What are some of the things you should consider?
There's many things to consider. One is find out the attachment that actually is useful, what you're trying to get or you're trying to achieve.
Right.
In many cases, there's all these different attachments that, let's say, holds an iPhone. Well, does it hold an iPhone when you're bouncing your wheelchair over, curbs? Well, maybe not.
Right.
Make sure you know what you're trying to accomplish and you get the appropriate attachment that's actually going to do the job for you.
So with some of these wheelchair attachments, people are using them, I want to say, in sports situations and so forth. So they've got to be pretty rugged in some cases, and then others, you're in a retirement home, so really everything's quite gentle.
Well, actually, retirement home is a pretty rough place.
Is that right?
It's not really the people that live there, it's the people that work there, pretty rough on the equipment.
Right, who are sort of bouncing things around.
Yeah, and they're in a hurry, and they have a lot of things to do quickly, so they don't pay a lot of attention to.
Last things to ask about with wheelchair attachments, I'm imagining the attachment itself, the hinges and so forth are a critical factor. What are some of the things to look out for there?
Yeah, when you're adding something to a wheelchair, you do also have to be concerned on how clean it's going to be. Is it going to be used in the hot sun? So be careful of the kind of material it's made out of because, in Texas on a hot day, something black gets hot.
Right.
So like this one is mesh, for instance. It's not going to get hot.
Right.
A black, smooth surface would.
Talking about that, different fabrics and so forth available, are materials important here?
Yeah, it in many cases, depending on the attachment, yes. You can get ones that have covers, that don't have covers. Again, because it's such a broad category.
It's like saying one could buy a car. There's a lot of kinds of cars.
Yeah,
There's a lot of kinds of wheelchair attachments.
Exactly, but many do have different surfaces, different softness, different materials.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for your insight here. I appreciate that.